A matchup of two division rivals this weekend in Detroit. The Tigers and Tarik Skubal take round one against the Cubs. MLB Game Night, every game, every night, and we are underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
He is Lindsay Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast, and you can follow Lindsay on the X at Crosby Baseball. I'm Steve Lenox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast. You can follow me on the X at Lenox on Baseball. We've got lots to get to. The Pirates walk off at home against the Phillies. The Giants walk off on a wild pitch against the Braves. And the Orioles win streak coming to an end as well. We're going to get all of that in there tonight on MLB Game Night. We're also going to talk about Cubs and Tigers in just a moment as well. MLB Game Night presented by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So the Yankees 3 home runs against Walker Buehler, and the Yankees beat up on the Red Sox in Game 1 of their weekend series in the Bronx. Again, we're going to get to all the games. Lindsay, we're going to start in Detroit, though. Cubs and Tigers, Game 1 of their weekend series. It's a 3-game set. Tarik Skubal goes in Game 1. I guess almost in a sense, you lose to Tarik Skubal. Now you've got an opportunity to win the next 2. He's in the rearview mirror. Maybe that's the positive side for the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good that you can't ever expect to win against Tarik Skubal, but now you have that freedom of like, hey, we don't have to press to win these first 2 games because he's looming. We've already failed that test, but so does everybody else.
Tigers did take the opener 3-1 Friday night against the Cubs. Standing room only seats available throughout the course of the weekend. You know the Cubs are traveling well to Detroit. Sam Olber, Locked On Cubs, had just one thing leading to the loss. They had opportunities but could not make the most of them Friday night in the series opener.
It's lazy analysis to say that a Major League Baseball game came down to one play, but I think it's appropriate tonight. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and it was a great game. Scubble was great. Ben Brown was great. The Tigers' defense was great. I thought some of the Cubs' at-bats were great. But the game, in my opinion, was lost for the Cubs in the 5th when Pete Crow Armstrong was thrown out. Trying to go home and then going back to third base with nobody out. Dansby Swanson on second. Would have been second and third, nobody out for the Cubs. You can't give a pitcher like Scubal, that type of free pass. And then in the 8th inning, Kerry Carpenter possibly robbed Seiya Suzuki of a 3-run home run. And, you're only going to get so many opportunities. I thought the Cubs did really well against Scubal tonight. It won't show up in the box score. I thought Detroit was tremendous on defense, and I just thought the Cubs, were the team that made the big mistake, and that was the difference in a tight, low-pitch ball game like this. But, man, the Cubs are really hard to beat. They had to do a lot wrong against a really, really good pitcher and a really, really good team to just get beat. Bounce back on Saturday. And, forget about this one, learn your lesson. But Quentin Berry, PCA, not sure who's to blame there. Probably more Berry. Just hold them with nobody out would be my instinct. But, they need to get that figured out because that can't happen in a game like that.
Sam Olber right there, Locked On Cubs, Lindsay, and, Tarik Skubal. I looked at his numbers, Baseball Reference from last year. Mm-hmm. The strikeout to walk ratio was out of this world last year. He could actually be better in 2025.
I have it here. His last 11 games, 95 strikeouts, 3 walks. The first time I saw that, I had to double check and make sure it wasn't a mistake. But to Sam's point, he only gets 12 swings and misses against the Cubs. He only strikes out 6, which normally is a lot for anybody who goes 7 2/3. For Tarik Skubal, it's not a lot. Like, to Sam's point, two division leaders, and the Cubs really had to do a lot of things wrong for Detroit to get this win. So honestly, not a bad showing from Chicago.
No, and I'll take the 6 strikeouts and no walks from Scubal as he goes deeper into the game. Yeah. You save the bullpen for the rest of the series. Will Vest inning in the 3rd scoreless as well for his 10th save. Again, he's a strikeout pitcher, and I love if he can strike out a guy in 4 or 5 pitches, great. But when you get into 7, 8 pitches of an at bat and you're a strikeout pitcher, hey, you're not going to be long for the game. So Scubal, again, impressive numbers, picks up the win. Tigers now 9-3 over their last 12, 19 over 500. Tyone and Holton for game 2 of this series, and the Cubs will be looking to even it up at 1-1. We're still in June, but is this a big series for one more than the other right now?
I think it's a big one for the perception of the Tigers, right? I mean, they're 40 plus wins, but there's still people out there who aren't believers in the Tigers because they're not doing it with massive stars, right? Like the Cubs have Kyle Tucker. The Cubs have PCA. The Tigers are just good top to bottom. They're just above average everywhere. I think this is a big series for the perception of Detroit among people who don't watch a lot of AL Central baseball.
It's another good series in the Show Me State. Cardinals home this weekend against the Dodgers, and the Cardinals take the opener 5-0. Sonny Gray 6 1/3, 8 hits, no runs, walked nobody. That's always an impressive number. And he struck out 5. Gray is now 7-1. I think maybe we should start talking to him about him as an NL All-Star.
Yeah, 7-1, 3.35 ERA. The thing is, like, if it was last year's Cardinals team, you would have been like, yeah, Sonny Gray's your one All-Star representative. They could have a couple different options. Brendan Donovan's been really good at second base. Like, they could have multiple guys, but this is the 8th shutout by the pitching staff of the Cardinals. I did not expect them to be this good, and I think that's kind of where everybody's been with this Cardinals team. Flip side is the Dodgers kind of did this to themselves. 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position, left 9 on base. That's not an offense I think is a very easy offense to shut out. And shout out to the Cardinals, credit to them. They did it.
All right. You sat through a college baseball super regional lightning and weather delay. I just had to prolong the misery for the Red Sox. They got underway about 30 minutes late in the Bronx. When it got started, Red Sox went down 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning. Walker Buehler had 2 outs and 2 strikes on Jazz Chisholm. He decided to hit a 3-run home run. Buehler gives up 7 runs over the first 2 innings. Red Sox did come back in this one, but they still fall in the series opener, and they continue to go in the wrong direction. But the Yankees, 3 home runs total. Jay Berman, Locked On Yankees postcast, gives us his recap.
All right, the Yankees and Red Sox for the first time this season, first of 3 Friday night. A successful night for the Bombers. They win it 9-6. They got home runs from Jazz, Volpe, and Goldschmidt. As for the pitching, well, Will Warren got the start, 5 1/3. He did get the win. Devin Williams, the save, now his 7th of the season. And again, the Yankees win it 9-6. An injury concern, Anthony Volpe hit on the left elbow in the second inning in his second at bat. He was replaced defensively in the 4th inning. CT scan and x-rays during the game. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the diagnosis is. Again, 9-6, the final score is the Yanks roughed up old friend Walker Buehler. Of course, the last time we saw Buehler on the Yankee Stadium mound, he closed out the World Series. Bit of revenge for the Yanks tonight. Again, 9-6, the final score.
But Buehler does have the World Series ring. Bear with me for just a moment.
I have a question for you on this.
Yes.
Okay, so last 4 games.
Yep.
Lucas Giolito, Walker Buehler, Richard Fitz, 15 runs in the first inning. Did the Red Sox need to change something about the way that they get these guys ready for the games? Is this just bad luck? What is this?
I think what they need to do is they need to figure out how to face their own lineup. Because the Red Sox, there's a lot on social media right now of what is the game plan going into some of these games, both for the pitching side and the hitting side as well. I say that sarcastically, of course, but yeah, 15 runs allowed in the first inning. You're playing all week long. You've been playing from behind, and you're lucky to win on Thursday as you were down early with Giolito on the mound. But yeah, something needs. I mean, maybe you start with an opener for some of these guys because it's Garrett Crochet and pray for rain. I mean, that's all it is right now for the Red Sox. I mean,
as a Braves fan, I can appreciate the reference.
Right?
War in Spain and pray for rain. I appreciate the reference. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So Marcelo Meyer does hit a home run in this one, his first in the big leagues. So there's a bright spot. Rafael Devers also homers as well. His first in 13 games, but Red Sox have lost 9 of 12, and don't worry about the division. Get back to 500 at some point because there's a team right now. I watch it every single day, and it's the definition of insanity at this point in time. Padres Brewers. Padres, another shutout win. Major League best, 11th on the season. It's just amazing what this staff is capable of doing, not only with their starters, but with their bullpen as well.
Yeah, 4 relievers, 4 2/3 scoreless. I believe I saw that Robert Suarez is the first closer in baseball to 20 saves. I think I saw that come across the social media feed. Flip side, the Brewers keep doing this. Chad Patrick, 3-5, despite allowing 1 earned run in 6 innings with 6 strikeouts. That's got to be frustrating. RBI single in the 3rd for Luis Arraez. Manny Machado hits a solo shot in the 8th. That's all the runs that are scored. The Brewers keep finding these pitchers from somewhere, and they go out there and do things like this, and the offense for the first time in a while is just not able to pick them up. And it's been multiple times now, and it's got to be frustrating if you're a Brewer starter.
Lindsay mentioned Manny Machado homering for the 2nd straight game, and that was a solo shot in the 8th inning. Diamondbacks and Reds got underway. They were suspended Friday night and tied 3-3 in the top of the 7th inning. They're going to pick that one up on Saturday afternoon. Diamondbacks did enter Friday on a 4-game win streak. Bad news, though, and news that maybe was expected. Torey Lovello announcing Corbin Burns is going to undergo Tommy John surgery next week. So, again, suspended game will be completed Saturday afternoon in Cincinnati. Then they'll play their scheduled game as well. Mets and Rockies at Coors Field. Lindor off the bench delivering big time late in the game for the Metsies. It's MLB Game Night.
Let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a lifeline. It's the thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And if it's that essential, why settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S. They deliver fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan, a pour-over purist, they have a roast that you will love. I took the Trade quiz. It only takes a minute. They ask you questions about the flavors that you like, the way that you brew it, how you take it, all of that stuff. And they use that to custom select a bag for you. The first bag they sent me was spot on, just absolutely perfect. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB. That's trade, TRADE.com/LockedOnMLB for 50% off your 1-month trial. That's drinktrade.com/LockedOnMLB.
MLB Game Night, every game, every night. Steve Lenox, Lindsay Crosby, glad you're with us as we're Friday into Saturday. We'll be with you again Saturday into Sunday. Mets, Rockies entering Friday in a 3-game win streak. Rockies had the bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom half of the 8th inning. A line drive double play to third. Brett Beatty made the catch almost right on top of the bag to get the runner at third base. Stanek exploded with a barbaric yelp as he got a strikeout and left 2 runners on base. He had bases loaded, nobody out. Francisco Lindor off the bench, dealing with a fracture in his pinky toe right now. 9th inning, 2-run double. Mets go on for the victory. Ryan Finkelstein locked on Mets with a smile and grinning ear to ear with this victory for the Metsies.
Well, it certainly didn't come easy, but the New York Mets found their way to beat the Rockies on Friday night. Francisco Lindor plays hero off the bench with a game-winning pinch hit double. This is Ryan Finkelstein, the host of Locked On Mets, and what a remarkable game. So many back and forths. The Mets did not look good for a large portion of that game offensively, leaving runners on base inning over inning over inning. But finally, at the end of the game, the dam broke when Francisco Lindor came off the bench, hit a pinch hit double. Also, some wild defensive plays in that game. You had Pete Alonso make the most athletic throw I think I've ever seen out of him. You saw Brett Beatty with an unassisted double play that was a huge game saver when Ryan Stanek had worked himself into a bases-loaded jam with nobody out. The Mets survived that game, and it was thrilling to watch. I'll be breaking down all of it on tomorrow's edition of Locked On Mets.
A good win. Keith Hernandez was saying it on SNY on the Mets broadcast. This is a terrific win. Well, Yeah, okay, it is. But then again, you look at it and you just beat the Rockies. Again, they were trying for a 4th straight win, did not happen.
And you had to take your superstar shortstop with a broken toe and pinch hit him in the 9th inning to do it after getting bases loaded in the 8th and escaping. The Mets went 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position. I mean, this is kind of a joke, but this was more the Rockies giving them a game than it was the Mets winning a game, really. To your point, should not have taken this long to win this game, but they do it.
Rockies did make a move on their off day. Ryan Ritter brought up from AAA and had 7 home runs in his previous 8 games at the AAA level with Albuquerque. Ritter had a triple for his first big league hit. Ezekiel Tovar going on the IL, and Tovar, just his numbers aren't the same as what they were a year ago in 2024. Lindsay, we mentioned the shutout win for the Padres in D.C. in our nation's capital. The Nationals able to blank the Rangers in game 1 of that weekend series.
Yeah, that was a 2-0 win for the Nationals. We've seen the Rangers get shut out a couple times. This one here was Michael Soroka, 3 relievers combined. Soroka's now 3-3, 6 innings, 2 hits. Both of those were singles, by the way. No runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He looked really good when he came back late last year in relief for the White Sox. He's now making it work as a starter on a 1-year deal. Could get moved at the deadline if they're not in it, and then absolutely could sign a multi-year deal next year. Flip side, this happened so much with the Rangers this year. Patrick Corbin goes 8 innings, 2 earned runs, takes the loss, and he's now 3-5, and he's pitching like the old Patrick Corbin. 2019, this would have been an awesome matchup between Soroka and Corbin, but Rangers, 9 shutouts this year. They've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 5 of their last 6. They're 6 games under 500. The Rangers, the Red Sox, the Braves, they're all kind of in that same bucket. All going in the wrong direction. Astros won their 9th game in their last 12, took the series opener Friday night in Cleveland against the Guardians. H-Town Wheelhouse telling us about a couple of youngsters helping lead the way for the Stros.
2 rookies help each other out in this win tonight. Hello, I'm H-Town Wheelhouse here with Locked on Astros, and the Astros win back-to-back games on the road. The first one in Cleveland. Colton Gordon was looking for his first Major League win tonight. He got it with thanks to Jeremy Pena 3 for 5. Jose Altuve multi-hit game. Brendan Rodgers going opposite field, hitting a home run after sitting out for 9 straight games. And then Jacob Melton playing right field, sacrificing life and limb to catch a ball that probably should have been caught. That's right. He saved 2 runs, kept them off the board. That would have changed the complexion of this game. Josh Hader comes in, gets his 17th save, and he is perfect on the season in save opportunities. The Astros continue to roll as the Mariners fall as well, and they increase their lead in the AL West. Stay tuned in to Locked on Astros. We're your team every day.
How much time do you think it took to put all those photos in there of that short? That was some nice production work there from Brett.
It really was. And once you get that stuff down, it's great. But a tip of the cap to H-Town Wheelhouse for putting that together. We do have the other side of the story as well. Jeff Ellis, Locked on Guardians, coming down to 1 inning for Cleveland, and Jeff does think there's time right now where they've got to make a move with their lineup, and that includes moving Big Christmas to the minors.
We got to talk about the 5th inning. It had a direct impact on today's game from both sides. I am Jeff Ellis of Locked on Guardians, and the Cleveland Guardians game was essentially decided in the 5th inning by a pair of defensive plays. Jose Altuve has a bloop single, scores a pair of runs when Nolan Jones can't get to the ball. The other side of it, Jacob Melton makes an amazing catch with 2 outs. Melton doesn't make the catch. It's a tie game. If Nolan Jones gets to the ball, it's a tie game the other way. It was just a defensive play for each side in the 5th that really decided this one. Guardians fall to the Astros, but we got to talk about John Kenzie Noel, and we got to talk about the decision to pinch hit him. John Kenzie Noel, by runs created plus, which takes all of the stats and kind of makes one number to say how good you are offensively, is the worst hitter in baseball. They are hurting his development, keeping him at the big leagues, and putting him out there in a high leverage spot is just not fair to him or the team. Changes need to be made. Check out Locked on Guardians for more ideas, comments, and what some of those changes should be.
He's batting.
And now you have Hunter Brown. Go ahead.
Sorry. He's batting 149 with a 399 OPS on the year. How are you pinch hitting him for somebody else?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that bad. Like, yes, Jeff told us, but holy cow, that's terrible. Sorry.
Yeah. The Red Sox pinch hit Christian Campbell on Friday night, and I was wondering about that one as well. So, as Jeff says, he's got the numbers to back it up to say, big Christmas. You know what? It's not a bad thing to necessarily go down to the minors if you can work on things, and there's a little bit less pressure to produce at the AAA level. I'm all for it when it goes beyond 4 or 5 weeks for guys. And this right now, it seems like it's a move that they have to at least be considering. Hunter Brown, Gavin Williams, a pitching matchup, and Hunter Brown, opportunity to clinch the series with him on the mound on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Phillies at Pirates. This will be exciting. This is Pirates win 5-4. Nick Gonzalez sack fly in the bottom of the ninth. We've got Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies. I always enjoy getting to hear his thoughts, but first, let's get Gary, because the Pirates won a game, and I love letting Gary talk about a win.
Raise the Jolly Roger at PNC Park here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Pirates walk off the Phillies in Game 1 of the series 5-4. Big 2-run shot from Henry Davis in this one off the bench. This is Gary from Locked On Pirates. Yeah, Henry Davis didn't start this game. Andy Rodriguez did. We all knew that he had Tommy John surgery and was making a comeback this year and leaving the game with right elbow discomfort. Man, not a great story for the kid, but Henry Davis certainly did take advantage of the situation. This is twice now that Henry has had to come into a game that he wasn't prepared to play in and had his best offensive output. There might be something to this Henry Davis over-preparing defensively and under-preparing offensively, or spending so much time preparing defensively that he's not focusing on the offense. But there might be something to that, and if the coaching staff can pick up on anything like that and get more out of Henry, big deal. Feel-good story for Nick Gonzalez, too. His 4th game, broke his ankle on opening day after hitting a home run. Really good to see him get the walk-off sac fly in this one. Good stuff. 2 games left. Who knows what will happen? But give yourself a chance by winning this first one. You should have.
I love it when Gary's perspective on Henry Davis, but you know what? The defense still has to be number one. That's priority for a catcher. Yeah. And this is a guy who was 1-1, and he's a little bit not necessarily behind in his big league career. That's not nitpicking, but I understand what he's saying as well. They need his bat, and he was drafted for his bat.
Yeah, you don't take a catcher 1-1 to be a defensive specialist. And he was doing so well that they had to grab Joey Bart off waivers, last year, 2 years ago, to fill in. And to his point, Andy Rodriguez was the starter in this game, not Henry Davis. So we'll see what happens going forward. Flip side, for the Phillies, Bryce Harper, I believe, did not play in this game. Yep. Trey Turner, 3 hits, 2 RBI, 2 runs, but it just not enough when you're missing a key part of your lineup there.
And let's hear the perspective on the Phillies side from our guy Connor, Locked On Phillies.
The Phillies they can't find a win right now. They get walked off on by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Second walk-off in 3 games. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies, and I know it was a bullpen game. And I know Joe Ross started, and it wasn't exactly their best setup to win a game. But they're better than the Pirates, and 4 runs, not enough off of Bailey Falter. It's not good enough for the Philadelphia Phillies, and they need to do something better. They didn't play a bad game, but it's just like you expect them to show a better, I don't even know, offensive output, I guess would be the way to say it, against a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates and a pitcher like Bailey Falter, and they just come up short. And the bullpen did what they could do. Like, I can't kill them for this game, but to lose 7 of their last 8, this team is scuffling. They didn't bounce back tonight like you hoped they would, and I don't know what to say. You got to find a win somewhere. And we'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Connor's kind of talking there. I feel like we're talking Mets-Rockies as well. The only difference is the Mets were able to pick up the victory in Colorado, and the Phillies get walked off at PNC in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Phillies feel like they're not clicking on all cylinders right now. And some of that's definitely missing Bryce Harper, but it just feels like they're a little bit behind the 8 ball. We saw this some for them last year as well. It was the second half of the year. Their win pace backed up a little bit. Hopefully they can get it going on Saturday. Ranger Suarez opposite Andrew Heaney. That's going to be a good matchup of veterans.
All right, Athletics win their second in a row, snapping their 9-game losing streak on Thursday, beat the Orioles 5-4 in West Sacramento on Friday night. Orioles 6-game win streak coming to an end. A's bullpen in this one, 4 relievers combining for 4 scoreless. They brought in Mason Miller. He struck out 2 batters that he faced and left the bases loaded in the 8th inning, gave up a walk, but struck out Adley Rushman to lead off the inning, retired the final 2 batters for the save, his 13th on the year. So the Athletics have won 2 in a row. The Orioles will try to start a new winning streak on Saturday, and they'll also be looking up, even up the series at 1-1.
Yep. And Braves at Giants, my Atlanta Braves, they get a walked off 5-4 in 10 by a wild pitch. It's the second time this season Tyler Fitzgerald has scored the winning run on a wild pitch. 7th walk-off win for San Francisco. This was something they got 3 in the first off of Spencer Schwellenbach. Atlanta had 2 defensive errors. Nobody scored on those, so all 3 runs were earned. He finished with 4 runs, 3 earned over 6 innings. Matt Olson hit a 2-run home run in the 7th, absolute moonshot to left. But the Braves now, my Braves, lost 5 in a row. They're 9-17 in 1-run games. That's the most 1-run games in baseball. And they're 3-12 over the last 15. 27-35, 8 games below 500. This is now currently a worse record than when they started the year 0-7 with that Dodgers-Padres road trip.
Couple of Halo vets help out in a victory against the Mariners. Our guy Gavin, Locked On Angels postcast, has the details, and that's next.
The NBA Finals are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there has never been a better time to get in on the action because FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game, both before tip-off and live. Player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you have a read on who's heating up in the finals, back it up with the same game parlay. What if you could combine live prop bets mid-game based on how you read the action unfolding? If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. So make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Angels home in Anaheim on Friday take game 1 against the Mariners with a 1-run victory. Mariners have now dropped 4 straight games. Our guy Gavin with Locked On Angels postcast has the details.
Trout, not Neto, not O'Hoppe, not Shanuel. No, Chris Taylor and Travis d'Arnaud. They're the halo hitters that come through with huge extra base hits and multi-hit performances to power the Angels to a 5-4 win over the Mariners on Friday night at the Big A. What's going on, everybody? Gavin Carlson here, host of the Locked On Angels postcast. And yes, I and many Angels fans have been very critical of Ron Washington's inclusion of Travis d'Arnaud and Chris Taylor in our lineups, but we will absolutely take what they did tonight. Travis d'Arnaud, his 2nd home run as a member of the Angels, and Chris Taylor, his 2-for-3 stat line actually undersells his performance. He had a 2-run shot robbed by Julio Rodriguez at the center field wall. It could have been an even greater performance from him. But despite an start from Kyle Hendricks, Detmer, Zephyr John, and Kenley Jansen, they were all great out of the bullpen to help the Angels open up the series with a win. You can catch the rest of my thoughts on this game and every single Angels game on the Locked On Angels postcast.
First or second time for Gavin. Great job there. Putting
He's
things
good.
together.
Yeah, I like him
putting
a lot.
things together there. I mean, very succinct with everything. On the other side, Mariners have lost 4 in a row. I guess they're not going to run away with the division is the way I put it together June 6th going into June 7th.
It feels like the pitching that's always been there for the Mariners, this great rotation, has been slipping a little bit more this year than usual. d'Arnaud's home run comes off of Bryce Miller. It's just like that's been the difference this year. The offense has been better, actually, under Kevin Seitzer, but the pitching's just taken a step back this season, and that's where you see it now coming out in this win-loss record.
Rays able to extend their win streak, 1-run victory at home in Tampa, Florida at Steinbrenner Field against the Marlins. Jeremiah Geiger, Locked On Marlins, On Miami dropping its 5th in a row. And also, Jeremiah, not very happy with the boys in blue as well.
When are umpires going to be held accountable? That's my question. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast, and the Marlins absolutely got hosed in this game against the Tampa Bay Rays. They ultimately lose 4-3, but arguably the deciding factor happened in the 3rd inning. Xavier Edwards lays down a perfect bunt single. Zach Littell throws it away, and Dane Myers comes around to score from second. They call interference on Xavier Edwards. I encourage you to watch the replay if you haven't. It was an atrocious call. X just ran straight down the baseline. Either way, he ends up getting ejected. Manager Clayton McCullough gets his first career ejection. He gave him his money's worth, and that was all she wrote. But you put that run back on the board, it's a whole new ball game. Maybe things turn out differently. I'm just tired of the umpiring going against Miami. But credit to McCullough for standing up for his guys.
Jeremiah checking in with us, Locked On Marlins podcast. Want to hit this from the Rays side here for a quick spell because Zach Littell 6-5 with the win, 6 1/3, 1 earned run. He's been terrific. Rays lost his first 5 outings, but they've been perfect since then as he picks up another win.
This is a Rays thing, right? They grab a guy and they turn him into a juggernaut. We saw this with Shane Baz when he came up. We saw this with Shane McClanahan. We saw this with Tyler Glasnow. Zach Littell, I think from a stuff perspective, is not as good as those guys, but this is the thing that they do. And they're 13-3 in their last 16 games. Just when I think I finally figured out the AL East, somebody goes on a run, somebody goes on a slump, and you have to just figure out all your priors, throw them all out on what this division is going to do.
All right, there are bumps for the Royals bullpen, few and far between this year. But the White Sox 5 runs in the 8th, and they take the opener at home against the Royals Friday night, 7-2. The White Sox have now won 3 of 4. Luis Robert breaking a 2-2 tie, 2-run single in that 8th inning. Kyle Teel, major league debut, 1 for 2, a couple of walks for the White Sox. And just the White Sox second win in the last 20 meetings with Kansas City. Lindsay, wrap us up, Jays and Twins.
Yeah, this is something Jays beat the Twins 6-4 in Minnesota. Addison Barger homers, George Springer homers, and Twins were up 3-0 when this happened. Bo Bichette gets a 2-run single, those 2 home runs. All of a sudden, they're up 4-3. Bailey Ober looked good. Early, got run support, couldn't hold it. 7 innings, 5 runs. But 5 relievers for Toronto, 1 run over 7 innings, obviously makes you concerned about the rest of the series for Toronto. But in the meantime, they've won 3 in a row. They've won 8 of 9, and they've been averaging 3 runs a game in their last 8 games.
Hey, go get a win for the Auburn Tigers on Saturday so you have a Game 3 of the Super Regional to cover on Sunday. We're going to be back at it Saturday into Sunday with our latest edition of MLB Game Night, every game, every night. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. We do hope you come back, and don't forget to tell your friends about us as well. MLB Game Night, every game, every night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.